Let's go to Chimaev, who had a very lengthy sit-down with Brett Okamoto of ESPN MMA inside a kitchen. And one of the big things Chimaev corrected the record on is this narrative that if he wins the championship, he'll A, retire, or we can add in the concerns that Dean Thomas has had publicly that Chimaev will be inactive due to the up and down run he's had with health, visas, bad luck, all of that. Here's Chimaev addressing that rumors with the most handsome man in MMA media, I think.
You know, there's this rumor out there that if you win the championship, that you will retire. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I seen the Kaya said, I don't know where he's heard that things. So I need money, bro. This is not enough, right? Just to go for the one title. So I hopefully, if not get some injury or some stuff, they're gonna fight for defend the belt or fight for other belt in Abu Dhabi as well.
14-0 is Chimaev overall on a streak of consecutive wins over Kevin Holland, Kamaru Usman, Robert Whittaker. Luke, I like that he's going to be around a while. He needs some money. I would have thought he's well taken care of by his boy Kadyrov, or we don't talk about that.
I guess, well, Kadyrov hasn't been seen that much recently. God only knows what he's up to these days. But listen, I'll just say
he's entertaining Gaethje and all the other Ali fighters.
Yes, maybe. Yes, they get real mad when you bring this up, even though they did it for public consumption. But okay, neither here nor there.
That beard, dude, that beard's massive. Do you see that
beard
shit?
Is fucking massive. And if anybody sort of looks like a fighter, Khamzat Chimaev kind of looks like one. And I'll just say, I mean, now that he's able to compete in the United States, his earning potential is obviously significantly boosted. I think the thing I would say, BC, is I was on Submission Radio and he asked me what's better for the UFC, if DDP or Khamzat wins. And the reality is, dude, the answer is who they can build around long term. Can they build around Khamzat long term? The answer is maybe, right? We don't know, but possibly. But the other thing to sort of think about is the answer maybe 2 years ago would have been oh, Khamzat, he's or maybe even 3 years, whatever it was, at the peak of his powers, it would have been Khamzat. But the thing to think about is, I've seen guys get built into big time stars and even legends in MMA. It takes time. It takes time. And DDP isn't there yet, BC, obviously. But this is his first fucking headlining pay-per-view in the United States. It's gonna take time. He's already made some inroads. He goes out there and he beats Chimaev. He's well on his way. So, I know a few years ago, the answer would have been oh, Khamzat, the sport is so interested in him and there could be nobody else. And maybe it should be him. Maybe it will be him. But if DDP wins, man, I truly believe for all the ways in which he's already proven doubters wrong, he could round another promotional corner that could be great for UFC and obviously for his career as a big-time star in the sport.
Yeah, dude, he has monster star appeal, even with the ups and downs of his career. Still unbeaten, still dominant. Only really close fight was that Gilbert Burns war, which I still feel like he made harder than it needed to be. I also feel like he lost that fight. Shout out to Gilbert, friend of the program right there. One more piece of sound here for Chimaev that's pretty interesting. The one lament I've had on his run so far with these inconsistencies is I did want to see him fight for the welterweight title before moving up to middleweight. But we got a piece of sound here from Chimaev talking about his ambition. He's not done. He's not done. If he wins this middleweight championship, he has a lot more goals to attain.
I work with the new coach, Coach Kao. I talk about him, go down again, back to my first fights, the 170 or 75, what was that?
170.
170. He said he gives me a couple of months, we're gonna make it. So I don't know who is the champ there, this guy, Australian guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, would be a good fight for me and go down fight with him as well.
Yeah.
Could take the belt there. And if I go up and there is Ankalaev and his name, Alex Pereira, they are fighting now. Mm-hmm. Who is winning can fight for that belt as well. So, yeah.
Luke, we thought the first person to attempt the 3-division champion was Conor. Then we thought it would probably be Pereira. For a little bit, we thought Adesanya. Do you think he'll get that chance, or is this just big ball ambition?
He hasn't won a single fucking title yet. What are we talking about? Again,
he's talking about it, not me. All right?
Is he one of these kinds of guys who you could look at and say, hey, would he be a good candidate potentially for something like that? Sure, sure. But that is, I don't know how to explain that. It's sort of like I'm not sure what the analogy would be. It's like, oh, climbing El Capitan, who's a good candidate for it? You find the world's best climbers, and it's like, okay, but that's still like an insanely difficult fucking task that, let's just sort of imagine that no one's done yet. Like, just like get the fuck out of here. He hasn't even gotten one fucking title yet, much less two. And we're talking about, could he get three? Let's get one, and then we'll talk about two.
Okay. I mean, it's probably not going to happen where he could go from beating DDP to beating the winner of Islam JDM to beating the winner of Ankalaev Pereira, but I love the big ball talk that goes with that. Well, we have not seen a ton of trash talk between du Plessis and Chimaev in the buildup to this fight, but there is somebody who is talking trash about Chimaev. His name is Sean Strickland. We had to call in our friends from Cuervo because this sounds a lot like shots fired. And of course, this edition of Shots Fired brought to you by Cuervo. Now is a good time to enjoy the tequila that invented tequila, and we will be enjoying that next Thursday at Pregame Preview. Here's Strickland looking back on the sparring that he previously did at Extreme Couture in Vegas with Chimaev.
Chimaev is just a fucking... I mean, I was here when he retired from COVID, bro. I was training with him. Like, he's just a fucking... it's like... If you knew, I always say there's guys, if you knew on a personal level you wouldn't like, Chimaev is one of those people if you knew you wouldn't like. He'll come in here. There's a video of me, I always like, oh, you're so good. Khamzat, understand, you're better than everybody. So just don't hurt people. Like, I'm being sarcastic, like, bro, like, you go and you fucking starch this 1-on-1 guy when there's like Edmund, there's like high-level UFC fighters, and you're picking the one-on-one fighter because like you think he's the same height as your opponent. No, you're picking him because you're a bitch, dude. Like, he's just like, no, he could fight, but like mentally, he's just a weak man. He's just a weak man.
Damn, them are fighting words, and those words were relayed to Khamzat Chimaev yesterday. Here's his response.
When you were in Vegas, you trained at Extreme Couture with Sean Strickland. He's been saying some stuff in interviews about, he just didn't like your approach. Just why do you think he's saying that, and do you have a response?
I don't know. When I was there, they never said anything, When I leave the Vegas and when they stopped my visa, they start to talk. When I come back, I'm in LA, bro. Come on. If it's something personal for you, just come. I'm here whenever you want.
Just come. All right. He's here, Luke. He can get in this country again. Just come. We were in Extreme Couture with Coach Eric Nixick for that RSD that time. And they did those guys in the gym. We're talking about when Chimaev was there and that people had success against him. I know sparring is sparring. You're not always getting that, but is this Strickland trying to plant a seed for a future fight or just Strickland being Strickland?
Definitely. I don't think there's any way to say it's, Strickland being Strickland has to be part of it, right? I mean, there's, he doesn't know how to talk without doing that kind of thing, from what I can tell. But I think what I would say is it's an interesting claim that he's making. Okay, so I've done enough training to know that I'm not good, but I've also done enough training to know and see what he's talked about. There are definitely guys, and sometimes it happens at the heavyweight end because they can weight bully, where, it's time to spar. And, for high-level guys, that's much more coordinated. Like, they know exactly who they're sparring with and blah, blah, blah. But, when it's more like an open class, you kind of have to just pick guys either your size, and then you just rotate out. And then you could end up with a lot of different kind of opponents, right? They you lengthier ones, shorter ones, smaller ones, bigger ones, depending on who you are. And I've absolutely seen what he's talking about, where there are guys who kind of carefully pick who they're going to go up against so that they don't look bad as a consequence, or they don't get a tough round. I've seen it in many different ways. It would surprise me if Khamzat is that way. It would surprise me. But let's just posit something. Let's say for a second that Sean is right. If Khamzat is that way, and that's if, DDP is going to fuck him up, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, again, if he's the kind of guy who when you're picking rounds to train and you're purposely picking around who you're supposed to be training with because you either want to dominate or you want an easy roll or whatever, DDP is going to feast on a guy like that. So let's see if Sean Strickland is right, I guess is my point. Let's see if he's right.
Damn, I cannot wait for this fight next
Dude,
week.
this fight is fucking sick. I'm so pumped.
And I'm really looking forward to the pregame preview because there's a lot of names. There's a lot of depth on this card from Aaron Pico in the co-main. You got that Jeff Neal, Carlos Pratis, Jared Cannonier versus MVP, Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. You got King Green, Jessica Andrade, Chase Hooper, Edson Barbosa on the early prelims. A lot of names to get excited about. Al Ferran impersonator, Mihail Oleksiejczuk is here as well. So get fired up. We're going to drink some Cuervo next Thursday for UFC 319 pre-game preview. For Luke's lighting on BC, Luke, you look like the devil right there. All right, we're out of here. Thank you.